Good evening, my name is Terry Johnson, and tonight I'm going to talk about the new millennium teen. Those of us that are well beyond our teenage years, we often reminisce about the day and the time that we refer to as the good old days. And oftentimes it were experiences and things that we shared when we were during the ages of 13 and 19. It was during these times that we established friendships, made decisions about our future, and just simply enjoyed our teenage years. Unfortunately, for today's teens, things are not that simple. The temptation of sex, drugs, and alcohol, and increased likelihood of suicide has the new millennium teen in a moral battle during a part of life that's supposed to be fun and exciting. One of the earliest battles that teens of today are faced with is drugs and alcohol. According to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administration, a report found that 26% of teenagers in the United States have drank alcohol. About 10% of American ages 12 to 17 are current illicit drug users. When asked how they got access to these drugs, they reported that they got them from older teens and out of their parents' medicine cabinet. Teens often have what they call farm parties. And this is when the teens go through their mom and dad's medicine cabinet and get all the prescription drugs and bring them and share them with their friends. They bring them and set them in containers and pass them around with their friends. The danger of this is that the kids, they don't realize that how dangerous the drugs are because they are illegal, and that they just think that if it's prescribed by a doctor that it's okay. In addition to widespread availability and ignorance, teens have to deal with the celebrity drug use portrayed in the media as normal coming-of-age behavior for young people. Teens have ideas that prescription drugs are an acceptable form of escape without the shame of street drugs. According to Teenage Drug Abuse.us, the drug of choice among teens is marijuana, and its legal counterpart known as legal weed, which is sold in stores as herbal weed, as a herbal incense. So it's available to any kid, regardless of their age, because it's not illegal. And it gives the same effect as marijuana. In fact, marijuana is the most widely used illicit drug used by teens today. Approximately 60% of the teens who use drugs use only marijuana. Of the 14.6 million marijuana users in 2002, approximately 4.8 million used it on 20 or more days in any given month, according to kids and marijuana.com. Also, the new millennium teen in the beginning of the millennium was more active than any other group of teens in current history. According to the Guttmacher Institute, the United States has the highest level of teen pregnancy among developed nations. That's not surprising, since nearly 75% of teenagers have had intercourse by the time they turn 20. Only 15% reported remaining a virgin until they're 21 years of age. Additionally, the Institute reports that teens in the U.S. are more likely to have sex before the age of 15 and have more than one partner in a year, also according to Guttmacher.org. If there's any good news about teen sex, then it's a report by the Child Trends Data Bank report that condom use is increasing among today's teens. The reported occurrence of having protected sex has risen from 46% in 1995 to 63% in 2005, also according to a Child Trends Data Bank report. Birth control used by teenage girls, however, has not followed this trend. Birth control pills use has remained steady for somewhere between 16 and 18% since 1993. This probably accounts for teen sex statistics that show that just under 33% of teen girls become pregnant. Another alarming rate is attempted suicide and suicide among teens. This is the highest rate and also along any timeline for teenagers. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, reported that in 1999 until 2006, there was an 8% increase in suicide, which is the largest increase over any given period. Depression is the most common cause of suicide, and teens perceive that their parents doesn't give them enough attention, which is the major factor in teenage suicide. And the course of action that teenagers use to commit suicide, the small caliber handgun, much like this one, because they feel that even though no one loves them, they don't want anybody to see their bodies mangled and destroyed. Today's teen may look back on their lives one day and say that those were the good old days. If they ever make it through their teenage years, if they're able to get past suicide and drug addiction, then one day they'll be able to say those were the good old days. And comparing our teenage years with those of today's teens, aren't you glad that the good old days came when they did?